What is up, YouTube? Okay, for today's video, I'm doing the press. I'm sitting on the floor. It's a lot easier for me to manage everything right here on the floor. For this video, I'm going to do a rundown of the pieces that I use for my pressing. I'm going to do a modern press video. I got plenty of books right here in this box. I got Sheena. When Sheena Zero came out, I bought 100 of them. They were 25 cents a piece, and this is a great modern book to use because the paper is what a lot of the modern books are today. It's like a relatively decent stock. It's not like the Marvel Now. The Marvel Now paper is a little bit chintzier, I would say, but this is it's pretty much the exact same page quality as Postal, which is Image. This is Dynamite, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Dynamite. But they're almost the same thickness book, the same page quality. The Dynamite book's a little bit thicker. I think these 25-cent books are printed on a little bit lighter paper. But for the purpose of these videos, these will work pretty good. There isn't really a lot of damage on these books, but from my shipment that I got from Dynamite, you can see on my Postal focus. What's going on here? There we go. You can see the corner there. Oh, sorry about the focus. Anyways, right there. That's a good angle. You can see the corner is completely folded over. It's pretty bad on the back. But it doesn't break color. So what I'm going to try and do is, I've already read this book, and I don't think Postal's super valuable. Hopefully I'm not ruining a book that's going to be crazy valuable later. This was kind of a good issue. But anyways, I still want to try and get that out. So for this video, I'm going to try and get that little kink right there out without using water. So there's a couple different methods. Before I tell you the process on that, let me run through what I got. This was the press. You guys saw me do my press video. If you watched my other video, I have a press video, or if you haven't watched it, I have a press video. You can go check that one out. That was more of a trial and error video. This one is more of a, I'm going to try and get this dialed in a little bit for you. And I'm going to make it probably a 3-part episode for moderns, and we'll see how it goes for that. The reason I'm going to do it in 3 parts is I'm going to do it once without using any moisture, and then I have 2 different methods for adding moisture to the book without being detrimental, I guess would be a good word, to the book. So I don't want to add harmful water, like I don't want to pour water in the book. I could use the steam gun, which I'll show you guys on another part of the steam gun, and then on another video I'll show you guys how to build a bath for the book, a humidity bath, just to add the moisture to the book, because the 3 things you need for a book are heat, pressure, and possibly a little bit of humidity to straighten out whatever you couldn't get out without the heat. So for this one, we're going to go with just the straight heat. The press, you guys saw, if you watched my other video, you saw that I used the Junior Model 80, is it? Junior Model 60? Junior Model 60. The problem with this press, it goes to 1 temperature and it's hot. It's, I'm going to say well over a couple hundred degrees. It's a 400 watt and it goes to the maximum when you plug it in. This one, I'm pretty sure this is a 3,000 watt oven, but it's fully adjustable. I say oven, but I mean press. I was going to go with the seal. They're a little bit more money. They're built real solid. This is a cast, I think it's cast aluminum. No, it's heavy. It's got to be cast iron. But it's cast, so it's not, you know, forged metal or anything. It's just cast metal. But they run about $1,000 to get like a Seal 210 or to go with like a technical. And the difference between a dry melt press and a heat press is the heat press is for pretty much sublimation. It's a lot more diverse and the price is a lot cheaper. So the press comes from eBay. It was $150, I believe. It came with the mat, which is like a silicone mat, so it's resistant to heat. It comes with a flat metal piece and a flat top plate up in there. It's silver. It looks like it's got a black it looks black because of the glare, but it's silver. It's a heavy press. So it's a piece of aluminum for the bottom, a piece of aluminum for the plate on the top, which conducts heat pretty well. And then it comes with this big silicone pad. And I dropped the press down. Let me see, let me check my video. It looks pretty good. I dropped this thing down until the plate touches the silicone pad. And then it's pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much too much pressure. Okay, so I want to drop it down till I touch the metal piece, not the actual shroud. There's a shroud around the heat plate, but until the actual plate touches the silicone pad, which is there, you can see this thing slightly move, the bottom piece, and just enough to lock it in. So I'm just pretty much kissing that plate. And then that's going to give me enough pressure on my book to sink down into this silicone a little bit, because silicone's going to have a little bit of give. So that gives me a good solid press on the books. And for my heat, I believe I got this thing set at 165. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to let it run for a little bit. Let me get you guys over here. You can see the number at the top is the temperature. It's getting up the temperature. The number at the bottom is the amount of time. So you can set a timer on this press. It's fully adjustable. You can adjust the pressure, you can adjust the time, and you can adjust the heat. I mean, with this press, you pretty much only have the pressure available, because also on this plate, it came without a pad, or with this press, it came without a pad. So I've been using a couple pieces of wood to just lift it up enough to get pressure on the books, the right amount of pressure. So that's really the only amount of adjustments I have, and I got to do it myself. With the Seal 210 and the Technical 150, I believe it is, they're a lot more adjustable. It has an analog control knob at the top, and it has a knob to control the pressure, just like this one does. But those run about $1,000. This one ran $150. Temperature, you can see getting up to temperature now. I'm going to get it up to 165, and I'll set you guys right there. And also, while it's getting up to temperature, I'll show you what I do for preparation. Alright, so this is a standard board. You can see, I don't know if it's zooming in or not, I can't tell. But anyways, this is a square edge. This is a standard BCW, or just a standard board from a comic book. I think I went with a Silver Age size, so when my moderns are in here, I have an overlap. On this board, on one side of it, I took a razor blade and scraped it along the edge to sand it down. Okay. So yeah, I would take a razor blade, I would open it up, and I would scrape the edge just to get rid of that hard edge. And I would flip the board over and then do it again. And it creates like little bits of dust. You can do this with sandpaper if you want. Razor blade was just what I had handy, and it took me a couple seconds to do it. So then I take that edge, so it's pretty much to a point almost, but it's not sharp. I went through and got all the burrs off because I don't want to put any little fabric dents or anything into the book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up to the staple page. I'm going to place the board on the staples, and what this is going to do is it's going to keep the staples, the thickness of this is about the thickness of the staples. It's going to keep the staples from pressing into the pages on either side, because you don't want to have staple dents in the book. And it's also going to keep the book from going completely flat, which also is a little unsightly. You can see how the books kind of have this little natural bow right at the spine, and this will kind of keep that. But the only downside to this is it also makes it to where like I don't get the heat transfer through the entire book. So I'm only going to be able to do the first half, and then I got to flip the book and do the second half. So that's not a huge deal, because most times you got spine ticks and whatever on the front and back, so you'd want to do both sides. And you can see on this board it's got like the dented corner of, this is the board that came with this book. So I just move it enough to where it's not touching the dent anymore. You can see it's just past that I got a little bit, like an 1/8 inch lip on the bottom, and probably a 1/4 inch on the side, 1/4 inch up top. So I got the board is completely hanging over the book. It's all the way down inside the spine to where it's touching the staples. I put it to where it just kisses the staples. And then stick it in the press. So I want to make sure that I don't have any dust or debris on my silicone pad. I recommend just using a brush and just brushing it off real quick. And also, you could take a board, which I'm going to do. A board that's a little bit bigger than the comic book itself. So I'm going to lay a board down right in the middle. I'm going to lay the book right on top of that board with a good amount. I want to make sure this board is still where I left it. I'm going to make sure this is completely covering that board. So now I got a board at the bottom, which was clean. And then also a sheet of Teflon. This is a piece of Teflon I got from eBay. I got it, the press is 18 by 18, so I could fit 2 comic books side by side. But the sheet is also 18 by 18. I ordered it already to the right size from eBay. You also want to make sure that there's no debris or anything like that on the board, because it will press little dents and dings into the book. So right now I got the press, it's up to temperature. I do 165 for moderns. We will do one side of the book. What I do is I push the press down. I'll do it right now in front of you. Push the press down and I hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then I turn the press off. So what that does is it's still got heat on the book. It's allowing the heat to soak into the pages, and then that's the maximum amount of heat that it'll get, 165. I've tested this press with a heat gun because it did come from eBay, and it's like a Chinese press, so it's not the best quality materials, but it's steel, so I mean, it is what it is. It presses down and it's got the heat, so it's, as long as the temperature's good and the pressure is right, you can't really go wrong. It doesn't really matter where it's made. But I don't anticipate this being longer lasting press than that. Also, when I got it, a couple of the wires inside, because this is all digital, it has more wires than the technical and the seal presses do. So I had to get back in there and install the wires that came disconnected in shipping. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this sitting for until tomorrow. So I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours and then I'm going to pop it open. So tomorrow I will show you guys the results of the front half of the book. And the only damage that this book had was that corner. So I'm not expecting it to be perfect because I didn't add any moisture, and that was a pretty significant bend in the book. But it seems to do better jobs with bends than it does with spine ticks without using moisture. So I'll show you guys the results tomorrow. I'll piece this together and we'll call this part 1. So I'll see you guys in 24 hours. Alright, so also while that's cooling down, I guess another topic to mention is this is a sublimation. It's a piece of aluminum. I got this from Jamie Tyndall. I forget what show, probably MegaCon or Tampa Bay. I bought this print from him. He just printed it onto the metal, and then they used a sublimation press to press the image on. So you can see the metal just makes all the colors pop really nicely. And this press is a sublimation press, so if I wanted to, all I would have to use is a sublimation printer. Get the sublimation ink, which is pretty much any printer, or most printers could be turned into a sublimation printer by getting a continuous ink system, because what it does is it comes in little cartridges that are on the side of the printer, and it's got like the hoses, so all the ink continuously feeds into the printer, and then it prints on to, let's just say for example, it print whatever image you want onto this metal, and then the press would be set at like about 400 to something degrees, and it turns the ink into a gas and bonds it to whatever you want to sublimate. So you can sublimate to t-shirts, you can sublimate to in this case aluminum, and it creates this beautiful print. So if I decided to in the future to use this for sublimation, I have that option. I thought about going in with my partner Danny from that I go to comic book shows with, and possibly getting a booth and selling, you know, I like J. Scott Campbell's work, so I wouldn't mind having some prints available from J. Scott Campbell stuff. Of course, I'd have to ask him for permission to be able to sell stuff, you know, that's already licensed to him. But I would just like that option to be available. And also, you could take some of his work and make it your own work by coloring it or changing stuff here and there. But I just thought that was really beautiful, and it's nice to have the extra option to do that. Also, I just went downstairs and I got my Campbell stuff. It just came in the mail today. I'm gonna go ahead and open this because my Campbell video is not gonna be until my Spider-Gwen stuff comes in. So I'll guys let you get a sneak peek of this, mainly because I can't wait to open it and check out what we got. So let's see if I can open. Let's get the printing label. It says I got the 4 books unsigned. There's no +1 on there in Sharpie, so I already know I didn't get the didn't get lucky, but Campbell does such good work packaging these books up to ship out. Never really have any issues with condition unless something slipped through quality control. Alrighty then. Open that up. Let me slide the books out. Bam. Alright, so we got cover A. This is the new Black Cat Renew Your Vows, number 11. Really like that. These will look a lot better when I put them in Mylars. But I got that one. Cover B. See Black Cat without her mask. Or that's like the Black Cat in the symbiote suit. The black costume. Get the Venomized Black Cat. And the very hard to get cover D. These books sold out in 3 minutes. To get the set for cover A through D. The cover this C cover, this one sold out in like 5 minutes for the A through C set. So this was very hard to get, and I'm very thankful to get it. It's in beautiful condition. So also, they just had the Spider-Gwen set go on. I think it's number 24, and those were also very hard to get. Those sold out in 1.5 minutes. I set an alarm just so I know that they're gonna come when they're gonna come out, just to make sure that I get them. As soon as it sold out on his website, they were already on eBay. People were buying 2 sets, putting them on eBay to scalp them, and they were already at like $400 for the set. So to get them from Campbell with the discount code, it was like $120. I thought about getting a second set to pretty much pay for my first set, because I could just put them on there. Somebody that missed out on it or really wanted them or just didn't have internet access at the time could have bought them. Can't handle the flipping, it just drives me nuts. So I'll just get mine and then I'll be happy with it, and I feel happy with what I paid for it. So that's those. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, I'm back. It's the next morning. I started this about 4 o'clock yesterday, and it's like 8 o'clock the next day. So 4 o'clock could have been 12 hours, so 16 hours. It's been 16 hours in the press. That should be plenty of time. I think it's recommended you keep it in there for like 12 hours or so. The longer you leave it, it's not gonna, you know, it wouldn't be bad. You can leave it in there for a couple of days, and the longer the better. So let's pull it out. Alright, so here's the book. You can see that the crease is there, still there. The crease isn't out. See the light shining off of it. But the side that got pressed is flat now. You see this part's kicking off the side of the book. Yeah, so the side that I pressed, which was the top side, is flat, and the other side kicks off. So what I could do now is press the other side, but I know that this crease was too deep to get without any moisture. So I know I'm not going to waste the time to flip it over and hit this side because all I'm going to do is the exact same thing that I did here. So I want to get rid of that whole crease. So what I would do next is add moisture to it. So I'll show you in my part 2 video how to apply moisture to the book in 2 different techniques. One being a little bit more in depth than the other and a little bit more aggressive, I would say, but it's still not going to ruin your book. So, alright, thank you guys for watching. Keep a lookout for the next part of this video. See ya.